Happy New Year, and some such. New year, same gremlin. Or something like that. This month has been insane. For the beginning of a year that should be peaceful, I wound up starting the year by having the plague, which ate into half of my month. Then my child's birthday happened, and somehow I have a 15-year-old. I don't know how that ever had any chance of happening. And the biggest thing right now is that my partner and I are planning to move in together at the end of my child's school year. And we're trying to do it in the way that's the easiest for her, which takes a lot of consideration, and she's not the happiest of moving and changing schools, but it's something that does need to happen. I can't stay where I am for the next 3 years. It wouldn't be good for our relationship. It wouldn't be good for us. But in that is a lot of planning. We'll get to all of that over time. But what has been on my mind is the amount that I manage to do in a day. There are a lot of times where my partner looks at the amount that I can get done in a day, how productive I am, and how it feels second nature to me, and it feels comfortable, and it doesn't feel like I'm straining myself. And he is always astounded by the amount that I can do, by the amount that I juggle, by the amount that I am capable of. And I realized very easily that it's a survival mechanism. It's being told that nothing counts, that nothing that I'm doing actually amounts to anything, so I just have to keep doing more and more and more and more and more. It's tough. And I know that all of these things count, all of these things are still things, all of these things still take time, they are still producing things. It's just that it's not what other people want me to do, so I'm berated for it and all of that. But we'll get to more of that in the future, even. And I think about it, and I think about how people are told to learn how to rest and slow down and everything else, but I like getting this much done. I like being productive. I like the self-reliance. I slow down if I feel like I'm low on energy. I've learned to take days to rest when I spend time with my partner. I've learned to take time to spend with my child. But I also know that I like doing things. I like getting things done. I like making things. I like that productivity. It helps me feel energized to be able to get stuff done and play with so many different things out there. And I think that's what it comes down to. Learning that you don't have to take the things that you started doing out of not so wonderful reasons, and learning to work with them, taking lessons and finding good in what may be a byproduct of not so wonderful times. I definitely want to talk more about mental load another time, but it's useful to be able to juggle, especially now, things in my own home, things in my partner's home, and things with this move, things with my child, things with all the things that I create. All of it, with very little record keeping. I managed to juggle all of it. My partner looks at me sometimes when I ask him a question about how he feels about something, or if he has any thoughts on something else, and he is so overwhelmed with what we were talking about 5 minutes prior that he absolutely can't answer what I'm talking about in that moment. And while normally I would be frustrated because I want that answer, I want to be able to make progress on things, I've learned that, especially for him being neurodivergent, it's a lot harder for him to juggle that many things at once because he needs to process through one thing completely before he can move on to the next a lot of the time. Or he can only juggle, 3 things where I juggle 12. And it does put a lot on me, but it's good. I like it. I don't mind it in the least. Despite the frustrations and difficulties when working with other people, it's good for me. I like being able to look at my day and say that I got so many things done and managed to do so much. And I managed to juggle everything along the way, and I managed to hold onto all of the mental aspects of it, and I plan out everything, and nothing is done haphazardly. It's all done completely, and I appreciate that. I appreciate having the ability to do that. I appreciate being able to rely on myself to do that. And I know my child does not understand that she relies on me to do all of that. She relies on me to know every step of every process and solve every problem and do tons and tons of things, which I do make her do plenty, which is like pulling teeth, so I have to juggle dealing with a teenager on top of trying to do everything. And my partner has started to learn about mental load, especially, and there are times where he feels guilty because he puts so much on me. He started to learn about things that he's trying to do to help, not necessarily being the most helpful. But we're figuring it out. We're all going through. We will make adjustments. We will get better. But this is one that, while I know that there is a lot of potential and opportunity for frustration and things to go poorly, I know that we will be patient with each other. I know that over time we will learn because, like I've said before, if a problem does arise, we look for a solution. We don't look for blame. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds once everything does happen and once we are figuring out those systems in the future. Because I have full belief that it'll still be a far better environment than I ever was used to.